Welcome to Bet the Farm podcast, episode number 5. I'm your host, Eric Pfeffer. Happy New Year, everybody. 2020 gone and 2021. We're here and we're live.
We are live.
As always, we got a jam-packed episode for you. Another nice week as a group from the cash crops. We're going to go over last week's winners, and unfortunately, we had some losers here by the sheep that we're going to have to, I'm going to have to wear these losers right on the head. It was not a pretty week for me. Best time of the year, NFL playoffs, triple header Saturday, triple header Sunday. I mean, we don't get that every once in a while. That's huge. I mean, I'm looking
an extra playoff team, buddy, first time.
And then the same thing the next week, no?
No, next week we'll be back to normal.
Which is 2-2?
It'll be back to 2-2.
Correct.
My hometown Packers getting that number 1 seed, home field advantage. So I'm very fired up for that.
As predicted.
Sorry, boys, for your Dolphins. The good news is, though, you'll be picking in the top 4. Hopefully you'll get some help for Tua. And the future is still bright for that team. It was a good year for you guys. We're going to go through some NBA cash crops with the Cow, some recaps of his picks from the last episode. Hopefully you were listening. He would have gave you some winners going into the new year, and you'd be happy going into 2021. We got our favorite segment of the week, Red Card of the Week. One of my favorites that we do on the show. It's always an entertaining segment. And the big one is we got the PGA Tour this week, guys.
We're back. We are back. I'm so excited.
PGA Tour Century Tournament of Champions. So that's one of my favorite tournaments.
37 straight weeks
Love
of
it.
PGA Tour golf coming up.
Sounds like 7 straight weeks of cash money.
Yeah, that's if you listen to our first episode, the Plotniks are big into golf. They'll give you some good winners. They'll dive into their strategies this year. It's going to be a pretty good season. I'm looking forward to it, actually. We have majors right around the corner. It's like we just had the Masters not too long ago, and we get the Masters in April, so that's something to talk about. We did a cool thing today. Hopefully your followers were, looking at our Instagram. We put up a post asking for some fun questions. We'll read off a couple questions that you guys put in. Go over that.
Ask the Farm.
Ask the Farm segment we're going to start. We have some miscellaneous bets heading into, this week, so we're going to go a little bit off the track of our normal, NFL, NBA. Sadly, NFL is going to be going away, so we're going to have to start being sharp on some of these other leagues. So we're going to start diving into those.
Problem.
We're going to start diving into those a little bit more. Let's get it off, man. Brandon, as always, give us a rundown of the cash crops.
All right, let's get a quick recap. I'll start with myself. Dino, 2-0-1 this week. Hit on the Ravens -12. I was so confident about that one against Cincinnati. Domination, as I predicted, completely blew them out, so that was an easy cash winner. Hit as well on Giants +9.5 with Tennessee -0.5 and a teaser. Never a doubt, me and Jared were all over the Giants. I know Eric was on the other side.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little later.
We'll definitely get to that. And then I went with my random miscellaneous bet. Went to the English Premier League, Man U, Aston Villa over of 3. I got a little nice sort of a backdoor cut or push on that one. It pushed at over of 3.
Yeah,
So
that was fun.
hey, I'll take a second half I got 2 goals. It was 1-0 at half, so I'll take
Not
that.
bad.
For those keeping score at home, your teaser record now is undefeated.
Undefeated.
Hasn't even come close, really, to losing.
What happens to go through the key numbers, baby? You don't take 7 up to 13 like someone I know.
So all time, that puts me at 9-1-1 through 4 weeks.
That is impressive. If only you were playing your cash crops on your book, you'd be making out like a bandit. But
Hopefully he is.
we all are degenerate gambles and like to throw money on everything, so I'm sure that's not the story.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say that's not it. Considering week 1, I told you guys I took like 25 1 p.m. props. I definitely.
Hey, we're giving our viewers the best of the best.
Yeah.
Here, right? That's why
Just
they're called the cash crops.
Yeah, king of the crops.
Right? It's not like when you live on a farm, you don't just only eat what you produce in the backyard, right?
You don't?
No, you don't. Sometimes you want some meat, you want some.
Never lived on a farm.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course
well,
not.
if
you
we
keep
keep-
this up, we're gonna butcher you.
I was gonna say I've been having some steak lately.
Get some filet out of this.
Oh, I could get a lot more than that.
All right, so
Yeah,
Jared.
very-
Wait, I would like to give my own on this one, right? Because it's very rare you go 5-0 in your cash crops, right? So sometimes you gotta toot your own horn. Week 17, everyone knows NFL is my bread and butter.
Can we get the scissors out? Can we get that sound for the
Oh, yeah.
audience?
Hold
at
on,
home?
here.
hold on. Before we do that, Dino forgot to
Nope. Put the money in the
put the
piggy
money in the
bank.
piggy bank.
Cha-ching,
That's 2 more.
cha-ching.
It's a fair thing to interrupt the scissors. So scissors stand for a sharp. And that's you
That's
want
what
me to
we-
do it cheap?
Hey, that's what I said in the first episode. If there's one sharp sitting at this table, it's the farmer. we have a Sharp in the making right now with that 9-1 record as
For sure.
the pig, Brandon Plotnick, is giving his brother a run for his money.
Everyone knows the farmers raise the pigs on the farm to be next in line.
No
so.
surprise. No surprise there.
But yeah, so now speaking of that, let's start with my first winner, which was the Giants. +3. What did we talk about when we had our crossfire and you were on Dallas -3? I mean, that was just...
He said Dallas was a veteran team. They'd be ready for this moment.
Yeah, they have a veteran coach and he never chokes, but it's Mike McCarthy and chokes all the time.
Hey, they got off to a slow start. They battled their way back in the game. All I can ask for in that spot is a drive at the end of the game to win the game. And
halfway through our conversation, you admitted that you didn't even like the pick anymore.
And I'll get to my sheepiness. I should be following a little better, and I'll get to my part when I have the...
But speaking of sheep...
because it was a bad take.
It's true, but speaking of sheep...
Fantastic.
Speaking of sheep, the second winner that I'll bring up is you sheeped into our Bet the Farm pick, which was
that is true.
Patriots -3, which they made a little sweat, gave up a score to go down in the beginning of the third quarter, and then it was just all domination, and they covered with ease. So then football team, I got them at a pick on that game closed at like 6.5 come Sunday night, and I could realize why, because the Sharps knew that Doug Peterson was throwing that game on purpose. They knew they were going to pull Jalen Hurts, and that...
I literally fell asleep at halftime. I think I ended up taking the under in that game. It was like 17-14 at the half, and I was like, I'm toast.
You're done.
Woke up in the middle of the night and saw the final was like 20-14.
When you get Nate Sudfeld.
Thank you, Doug Peterson.
Speaking of Nate Sudfeld, Brandon, from?
Nate Sudfeld? I'm toast.
Wow, first loser of the week.
Honestly, I'm not sure. We're going to have to go to our producer for this one.
That's bullshit.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Wisconsin, though. In my ear, Wisconsin.
Sounds like a Wisconsin quarterback.
So, and then off Brandon, though, my teaser that hit was the Titans -0.5, and the Broncos.
He went to Indiana.
Oh, right colors! Right colors!
Fuck you,
right colors!
You can't ask from and not know it.
That's tomato,
That's a
tomato.
cardinal sin.
All right, fine. I'll take the yellow.
Red colors, I like it. It's close.
Yeah. So, yeah, Titans -0.5, Broncos +8.5. That one hit with ease again. Broncos won straight up. And that's why you like taking the teasers. Titans didn't cover the spread, but cover the teaser number. And last but not least, what everyone chastised me for yet again, and normally when that happens, it tends to be a winner, and it's Bills -1 against the Dolphins, and that was just an automatic. Yeah, I mean,
we were all just biased.
Every time you guys are biased, though, and I'm on the other side, I feel like we do well because we're all fans of the same team.
Granted, the line completely moved against you. Dolphins finished or closed the line at the 2.5.
What's the difference? I'm so sharp that Sharps are like they don't even understand what I understand. Which I understand is that McDermott's going to play his players at least through the first half, and they came out here and whooped their damn ass.
That's exactly
what. It didn't even matter. They still dominated us in the second half.
Well, of course, but the biggest.
I mean, you know why? Matt Barkley's pro Bitcoin.
Yeah, the biggest angle. Yeah, the biggest.
So I was at 36.
The biggest handicap.
37 almost. Wow.
The biggest handicap that he was trying to make was that Allen's not going to just sit on the bench. That's why the line was shaking, but he knew that Allen was going to sit in the game. Yeah. And with Allen playing quarterback at a pick-em, that's a fucking no-brainer. So.
And what Aaron said, which and also shout out our other friend Brandon Yassis told him, diehard Bill fan, was that his sources say they're only going to play 2 possessions. How is that, Yassis, if you're listening? Yeah, completely wrong.
Yeah, Trent Green said 3 times, Barkley's coming in, coming in.
Yeah, they kept showing him warming up on the sideline, but he never actually
wasn't happening. So,
yeah,
that's my recovery, 5-0. You won't get that very often moving forward without the NFL, so I had to enjoy that.
Well done, Farmer. That puts you all time at 15-4.
Solid.
So
it's pretty solid.
Farmer and Pig doing well so far, which leads us to Miles. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but had Suns +4 versus the Nuggets.
+3.5, yeah. I mean, there's really not much to talk about other than if the Suns are getting points, you got to take them.
And what was the result?
And the result was a 106-95 victory.
Straight up victory.
They took the lead in the second quarter and just held on from there. I mean, I think that, what does that bring me to 9-1?
That's 9-1 on the season. Milk the cow.
I didn't know you've had 10 picks. I feel you give one up.
So obviously,
we're gonna have to check that score, boys.
Obviously, basketball is going to be difficult because the lines come out so far, like not even far in advance, and so many injuries, and with COVID. So we're going to have to, tune into Twitter.
Look, I'm making the executive decision here, right? This is what we're doing moving forward. We're going to utilize our Twitter account. If you don't follow us, it's at the Bet the Farm Podcast. We're going to go. We'll post it on Instagram. You follow us on Instagram. And every night, he'll post his basketball picks on there so that we have a running tally. And obviously on Twitter, it's timestamped. So you go on there, it's Twitter. He has his NBA picks. Boom. Going forward.
Thank you,
Easy
Jared.
solution.
Thank you.
I like it.
All
well,
right.
that leads to the sheep, and I know I told you guys the first episode I am just the host. You shouldn't follow me. I went 1-3 this week. 2 heads-up matches against my my slave, the farmer, where they were both losers, so that was bad.
What was the second one? After the Giants and Dallas?
It was. You didn't talk about your winner. You had Ohio State won outright.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't actually take that one, but I was making the other point for it with that.
Yeah, that was bad. I had Clemson.
Dabble yapped that mouth too much.
Did give you a
real deal.
a little tipsy by the end of the last show. I blattered out a 5 unit bang on Northwestern. So if you were listening to me at the end of the show, that would be a huge win. That was my only win. And then obviously the Cardinals -3. Couldn't predict Kyler Murray getting hurt, so that kind of killed me. That puts my record at even 6-6 as the host. Find a host that's better than 6-6. I'll take that. I started out hot, a little horse racing reference. As a young horse, you put blinkers on at the beginning of your horsing career, keeps you in your lane, makes you focus, win a lot of races. So that's what I did early in the season. Looked at the farmer and said, you know what? I'm gonna let the sheep run a little bit. I'm gonna take the blinkers off. Worst mistake ever. I've hit a rock bottom. I'm ice cold. So looking
Those
at
blinkers back on, buddy.
blinkers are back
I thought they were
on.
called blinders.
They're blinkers, blinders, same
Tomato,
thing.
tomato.
Yeah.
There's
So-
two different letters.
It's like Indiana, Wisconsin. Tomato, tomato.
So I know my role.
It's in your favor.
I know my role now. This is why my picks will be last, so I could hear farmers' picks. And if I have to make any last minute changes, I will be doing that. So
Well, on the
all
week,
in all,
on the week, 9-3-1. On the season, in the career, 39-12-1.
we can move to Vegas. If you're following us at home, putting wagers on it, whether it's $1, $10, $100, listen to our cash crops, play them every week, and you'll make money.
Also, this is all documented in 39-12-1. That's not going to be upheld. This is as good of a start as we can get, boys.
It will be tricky as well with NFL's coming to an end. NBA's hard to make plays
but
when you're recording, but we've got golf.
we've
got golf season, and that's where the money's made.
Yeah, and we just fixed the solution for our NBA sharp over here. He's going to be posting those on Twitter. So one play a night. That's seven cash crops a week on average. So.
Listen, any podcast or any show that gives takes, everyone's going to do football, and everyone's going to follow it, and they're going to be around for a few weeks. But what makes us different is we have a lot of depth into different sports. It's not just football; it's lines, it's different things that we're looking at that are going to help you throughout the 365-day year. Going to make you money. So stay with us. I know football's ending, but playoff time is usually.
We got a month, baby. Don't worry.
Yeah, we got time. So don't get off the bandwagon.
Well, playoffs are coming up.
Yeah. So let's just dive right into it. We got Saturday. We got 3 games starting with the Bills and Colts. Play a little game actually. I thought about because Miles doesn't really dive too much into lines. What do you think? Colts at Bills. What do you think the line is?
I actually had Bills as one of my cash crops.
Wow. Coming prepared. So you already know that line.
Wasn't expecting that.
So we can push that back to later.
We got Rams, Seahawks in the middle. So what do you think? Rams, Seahawks. What would that spread be?
You're just asking me directly.
Yeah. What do you think the spread is?
He's asking what
I
the
think
line
the
is.
spread would be 3.5 or 4.
4?
For the Seahawks.
Okay.
Well, that's a sharp call.
It's a sharp call.
He definitely was on.
Yeah, 100%.
earlier.
I definitely did not look at that.
And then Ravens, Titans at night. I'm sorry, no, Bucks.
It is
Bucks,
3.5 at the moment.
Bucks.
I know what the Bucks line is. It's
Okay, so we'll
-8.
skip that.
Yeah.
What about Ravens, Titans? That's a Sunday game.
-12. Ravens -12.
That's more like it. That's
3.5.
Wait, who are they playing?
The Ravens. You got Ravens, Titans. You got.
Wow.
What's the other game you got?
Bears, Saints.
Yes, Bears, Saints.
Saints -9.
Yeah, you looked at that one,
9.5.
obviously.
10. It's 10 right now.
And then the finale on Sunday was
Brown Steelers.
Browns Steelers.
That game-
Steelers -4.5.
-6.
5.5 is what I'm looking
That
at.
game is going to be very interesting. I kind of want to talk about that game at the end to see what your thoughts are about, Stefanowski, or the fucking
Well,
coach
we
is.
can talk about it. It's a cash crop.
Well, let's get into the cash crops and we can kind of break down the games. Pig, start us off as you always do. You're the leadoff hitter of this team.
Hey,
Throwing
they
out.
call me Juan Pierre for a reason.
JP, how dare
Favorite
you?
player of all time.
We ready. All right, my first cash crop of the week is exactly what you talked about. Steelers -5. Got it early, and I got it at even money as well, which I believe now it's at 6, and it's at a standard of 110, 115, 120. So Cleveland's got COVID issues. As soon as the news came out, I
So
pounded.
it's just staff members, right? Not players.
Correct, but their coach isn't going to be there.
So yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
So no Stefanski.
There was a big
And, well, go ahead.
there was a big question is do you think he should be allowed to coach remotely from where he's going to be?
Of course, but there's a different dynamic to what he can. Why not?
No,
I just think it would be unfair. Like if he's like at his house watching a game,
there's no way that's even possible.
I mean,
and the whole camaraderie of making coaches' decisions from there and challenging plays. Like, how do you?
Well, you'd be buzzing into
the logistics
somebody.
of it. Doesn't
I just
make
don't
sense.
think it's a fair advantage. Like I just think it's unfair because you could probably be watching multiple screens,
Don't
doing
get
more.
COVID.
Yeah, that sucks.
Up your protocol.
Browns make it to the playoffs finally. And
Head coach
You
going
can't
to the
coach him
playoffs.
outside the stadium, all right? There's a perimeter here.
They also, Week 17, lost Olivier Vernon towards Achilles. That's one of their top pass rushers. So
Olivier Vernon from?
Miami. Boom.
Dolphins.
No, UM.
What's
Dude, he
that?
did play for the Dolphins.
I know that.
UM fan over here
When
knows
did he
exactly
play?
where Olivier
When did he
Vernon
play at UM?
in college.
Before he was in the pros. So I think that's actually going to be a pretty significant injury. So Cleveland actually ranks in the dead middle in the league in pass rush win rate percentage at 44%.
The fuck is a win rate percentage?
When you're rushing the passer, how often do you beat your opponent and get to the quarterback?
Someone's got PFF.
So to put this
Subscriber.
yeah, to put this into other terms to give you like an idea as to what that how you can compare that. Steelers are the first in the league at 54%. TJ Watt leading the charge. So and then the Giants are at the bottom at 31%, just to show you where that level goes to. Yeah. So Cleveland almost just lost to the Steelers Week 17 without the entire Steelers offense for the most part and all their stud defenders. So
Yeah,
I just am not a
like the
believer in
play.
Cleveland whatsoever. In the two games that they've played this year, versus Pittsburgh, Cleveland's offense is averaging a whopping 157.5 yards per game throwing. It's wonderful. And they're 0-2 against the spread. In the last 2 years, opponents are 20-11-1 against the spread against Baker Mayfield. Do not believe in Baker Mayfield in a big game. Browns are 6-10 against the spread this year, while the Steelers are 10-6. I just think all signs point to Steelers at home. Fade the Browns in their first playoff game since 2012, and trust Mike Tomlin, who's won 8 playoff games as a head coach, and against a Stefanski-less Browns team that hasn't sniffed the playoffs in basically my lifetime.
I mean, playing devil's advocate, what would be the backbreaker? What would it make them cover? You got any ideas?
Oh, I'm gonna follow that up since we're already here, and the phrase that I love using now that I go after Brain every time is discuss this, but I'm piggybacking off him, and I got the Steelers -5 as well. The second I got that tweet that Stefanski was out, I'm in, because Stefanski has made the biggest difference on this Browns team of anyone. Normally, I'm not a big coach guy, but this guy is an analytical brain. He's coming to that offense. He's completely changed the way Baker Mayfield's played. And then, other than that, the most important thing is what's been so obvious and where we've gotten edges in Browns games all year long is that Baker Mayfield against pressure is not good. Baker Mayfield, when he plays a defense that's not pressure the quarterback, dominates. So when you had a team, this D-line like Pittsburgh has, that's one of the best in the NFL, it's going to have the most pressure in the NFL, this is where he's going to struggle, especially when he doesn't have his head coach that has guided him all year long, has been one of the best offensive minds in the game. He's really impressed me. So I really like the Browns, where they're going in the future, especially with Stefanski. But this week, especially now, people are so low on the Steelers. They just gave all their stud players on the defensive side, along with Big Ben, the week off. They have a little break. I think they come out at home and they dominate. The Browns.
Versus a closing line value, you get it at a great number at 5 versus waiting. I think it may end at 6.5.
Maybe it depends, but
Also, I was listening before when I was on the way here on the radio. It's like when they were -4, you kind of would be a little bit skeptical. The line's a little too low. Now that the line's rising to 5-6, you kind of feel more comfortable taking that bet too. Only thing I'm worried about the Steelers in the playoffs, you got to run the football, got to control the ball. Airing it out all those times is, that's what the Steelers do. They haven't been
that's
running
also
the
the
ball.
Browns' weakness. Their secondary is not the best in the world. They have
So
Denzel Ward.
it's
Besides that, they got no one. So
good
they're going to
matchup.
want to drop back. It's a good matchup for the Steelers in general, and I think it's a good spot for them to dominate.
Nice. That could be a potential bet the farm pick. I don't have a pick on that game. Miles.
Anyway, you guys, you just said you had an NFL pick, so let
Well, you don't have anything on that game?
No, that game, no.
No.
All right, well, yeah. What's your...
No, go for it.
No, so
The mic is yours, Miles. Make this last.
He's having an NFL pick.
He has an NFL pick, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy wow!
Ladies and gentlemen at home, please stop what you're doing. Listen in.
Okay,
Turn the
I
volume up.
don't want the fans to expect some analytical answer. I'm just gonna let you know. When it comes to NFL, I watch games, I observe, and I just love the Bills. -6.5. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs just look untouchable. That Colts team is just so unpredictable. I see the Bills winning by 14.
There you go. Straight field
So,
play.
you know,
Well,
I'm taking the -6.5, and I hope.
Anybody
Yeah,
else?
yeah,
Anybody else on the Bills?
yeah. This has been a great transition.
Thank
transition.
God
here.
Brandon cut me off because right before you did, I was just going to say, just straight off his handicap, didn't even have this play, but I'm taking the Colts plus 6.5. But now
I
that
think
Which is cool.
standard sheet. I think I'm.
I'll
gonna
hear
follow-
out his reasoning though
Me
first
too.
when he gives
Me
it.
Which is cool. You could do that because what are we going to continue to do? Take teasers through key numbers. I'm taking the Bills -0.5
Okay.
versus Indy with the Bucks -2.5 at the Washington football team in a 6-point teaser. Like I mentioned, take it through the key number for the Bills, which was 6.5, and you got Bucks at 8.5. I'm getting straight through all those numbers, both the 6, the 7, and the 3. It's perfect. The Bills are just on fire offensively. They're averaging 32 points per game, which is number 2 in the NFL. The Colts primarily play a zone defense, so this is just a perfect opportunity for Josh Allen to pick apart that D. I expect a huge game out of Cole Beasley. Look for him in the prop market. Look for him in DraftKings. Bills at home. They're going to be allowing fans finally. That should help. You know that Buffalo is going to be going wild. I've been saying it all year. The Colts just really aren't that good. Rivers always crumbles and turns the ball over. If you turn the ball over against the Bills, good luck. On the other side, Washington football team, the offense is just completely anemic under Alex Smith. Great game manager, but when you want to get into a shootout with Tom Brady, good luck. The Chase Young called out. I always think of the quarterback Chase Allen, but Chase Young calling out Tom Brady walking off the field. Good luck.
Kind of like
And
it.
that-
Nothing to lose. He's a fucking rookie, never been in the playoffs.
Except that game,
Not
which is
it-
all I care about.
Not
So
expected
Bucks
to win.
and Brady in the playoffs. That's enough said.
All right. So, yes.
I don't have anything with Colts, but just kind of to piggybacking off you know, when you look at a team just like your Giants pick, like the Bills have been rolling teams. They've been winning by double digits. 6 is a lot of points. I mean, Rivers is a veteran. Allen's never won a playoff game. He's back in that spot. How comfortable he's going to be, I don't know. My hot take for the Bills in the playoffs is, and I'm going to pick them, they're either going to lose to the Colts or they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. I don't think there's an in-between. I think if Allen can get past this game, they're going to ride all the way to the Super Bowl or they're going to lose. I don't think there's a win this week and then lose or lose in the championship. I think it's win, go to the Super Bowl, lose, obviously you're
Well,
done.
considering their next game, if they win, is the Chiefs, then
No, it would be the Steelers.
I'm looking at the bracket.
Well, I mean,
Who's the 2 seed?
Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, so they would play the Steelers if they won.
That's not how the brackets work.
It's the NFL is lowest seed, so the number 1 seed will play the lowest seed. It's not a bracket.
Yeah, it depends.
So,
it all depends on who.
If the lower, like let's say the Colts were to win, they automatically play the Chiefs. If the lower seed's going to play the number 1 seed.
Oh, true.
So if all the favorites
I'm
win,
looking at like a bracket, which
Yeah.
so that makes a lot more sense, and
Yeah.
I should have definitely noticed that. So
all right.
So that's your yellow card, but now coming off me, this is the first time I'm having maybe like a mini crossfire with little pig over here, right? And that's where I'll be taking the football team plus 8.5.
hey,
Before I get into my handicap, let's talk about teams. I mean, for you guys looking at home, you see us all in our blue shirts over here. You're probably wondering what's going on here. And that's because after a little call out last week, us team, we got a sponsor.
Let's
This is
go,
called
baby.
Singer Health Center, right? So you look on the back, your bookie breaks your back after a bad week, you call Singer Health Center, he's going to help you out, he's going to fix that back within 2 seconds. Singer Health Center. So moving forward, football team, plus 8.5. And I absolutely love that at home. Every time the shitty team wins a division, they come out at home and everyone's like, why do they get a home game? It's bullshit. And the last 2 times it happened, they win outright. It was Seattle, they did it. It was probably like 7-8 years ago. And especially with Alex Smith, the way he's a game manager, that D-line against Brady. I don't think it's sexy. I think it's just good value. So I'm taking it.
All right, nice handicap there on the football team. I'll go right into my cash crop. Kind of similar handicap what you said and Brandon said. I'm actually leaning on the under. That's going to be my cash crop. It's right now at 45. You're right. I just don't see where the football team is going to get their points from. And I do believe in that defense. Brady against a defensive line like that, any defense he's played this year that's been above like a top maybe 15 defense, he's kind of struggled. He lost to the Bears early in the year, lost to the Rams. So I'm just expecting kind of an ugly game. As a biased Packer fan, I'm hoping Washington can beat them, which knocks them out. It's the only team I'm really worried about. But yes, I'm going to go to the under of 45 versus football team versus the Bucks.
Love it. Get pressure on Brady, baby.
No more cash crops for you?
no, I'm
I got
sticking
one
with
more
it.
in the
I
NFL.
have.
You have another in the NFL?
Not in the NFL, no.
Okay. So last in the NFL for me, let's make it a threesome. And I normally don't do this, but I'm laying the 3 on the road with the Ravens. And when you look at that team, normally I don't go with the hot hand. They've been on fire 4 or 5 games, really have not played the best of opponents. But when you look at this Tennessee defense, they just get gashed, man. And this Ravens offense, when they're gashing someone, they're gashing someone. So you can put them against I'm a little worried. That Titans offense is a little lethal, but when you don't have that real home field advantage anymore without a full stadium, I think the Ravens. I was not going to take this at 4 where the line opened, but when you see that happen, then you see shout out Matty Law on the Flanny's Food Review. Stay tuned, watch that. He's taking the Titans money line. He's that confident. No, give me the Ravens on the road -3.
I feel more confident.
Knowing that.
My cash cup as well. I'm going with the Ravens -3. One thing you didn't mention: this is a revenge game. They got bounced by the Titans last year. Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, the line is falling. So if you're at home, I'd probably be pretty patient with this. I think it's going to drop a little bit. Maybe get closed at like 2. If you could buy the hook at home, I like 2.5 a lot better than 3, obviously, but I think being patient with this line, it's going to go down.
Where the farmer's going to come in and say, "There's no way this line's getting below 3."
Well,
but you got sharps like me gobbling up 3s the second they see it with the Ravens.
I already bet Ravens -3, just didn't make it a cash crop. So if we're
Could
thinking
be a
Miles, maybe. We table that till later.
We close the show with that. Do you have any more cash crops on the NFL?
Not NFL. I'm done.
I got 2 more. Yeah, Rams versus Seahawks. Don't know the quarterback situation in Los Angeles. Even if Goff's going to play, got to think he's going to be limited. Seattle's defense has actually been very impressive down the stretch. The line also is one of those head scratchers. It's 42.5. Very, very low for these 2 teams.
Yeah, I like the under there.
If they played in the regular season, it was never this low. So I'm going to lean the 42.5. Hawks offense has not looked pretty.
Wait.
Which
lean
way?
or leg?
Which
I'm cash crops under.
No, he said lean. There.
Sorry, no, I'm under.
I've already bet that as well.
Yeah,
so.
you have a Seahawks team that hasn't looked like themselves since I don't know how long. Their defense is clicking. Rams, they're going to bring their defense every week like they showed last week. So
defense is unbelievable.
Lethal. So I like that, and the number makes me feel even more comfortable because I think it's going to draw a lot of attention to over betting. And then my last one. I'm going
also, before you go, just piggyback off you. Last week, that over-under was only 41. Same teams played. And because
they played.
It was their last matchup, I'm saying, though. The last matchup they played, whenever it was 41. And the same thing, and it was like very low scoring to the end. And there was a touchdown with like 3 minutes left, then like a fumble 6, and then a late comeback touchdown when a team was down 17 to make it over. So they're saying it went from 41 to 43 because of the final score of the last game, even though that really wasn't the final score.
It was 20 to 9
which is better.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
And that was week 15, so yeah.
Which is better for me.
Wait, what?
Or 16, excuse me.
What was the score?
20 to 9.
Oh, then I'm thinking of last
You're
week.
thinking of last week they played the 49ers. And I remember that. It was like literally they scored like 28 points in the last 5 minutes of the game. And my last one, I'm going to go, I just think it's a lot of points. I'm going to go Bears +10. That's a cash crop.
Wow.
Not sold.
Who loves the AFC North?
Not sold on the Saints. Breeze has not been impressive to me. Chicago, I think they have veteran defense that think they'll be able to handle, the Saints pretty well. I think it's going to be a close game. Obviously, I think Saints will be pulling away with it at the end, but I think 10 is a lot for this matchup. Saints are notorious chokers. Lost to the Vikings last year, which is a NFC North team. Lost to Green Bay this year, and I think they played the Bears earlier in the year, and they lost or they won by 3.
You're the NFC North. Sharp. That's what I meant to say.
Love the Bears
NFC.
+10. Love the Bears +10.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like the sheep is just chasing. He's got 4 cash crops this week after admitting that he's 6 and 6.
He's had like 2 or 3 all week when you have 16 game slates. Or 8.
The sheep, the blinkers are back on, and I'm a playoff guy.
So they played in the middle of the year. Saints won 26-23 in overtime.
Thank you very much.
All right, what's up next?
May have been Nick Foles, though. I'd have to look into it.
I think it was Nick Foles. So let's get back to the NBA. Bring it over to the milkman.
Yeah, so that just ties into my cash crop. Tonight, which is the 6th, we have the Clippers and we have Golden State. Steph Curry coming off 2 big games. He scored 90-something points in the last 62 minutes, which is unreal. And I'm just going to have to go with the Clippers. Paul George is still questionable. Even without him, I'm still riding the Clippers, and I'm riding Curry's unders. Curry's unders is not a part of the cash crop, but Clippers -1.5.
And for those at home, he's going to tweet that out after the show so you can get it. So I know you're not going to hear this till tomorrow, but
and then
going forward, be active on Twitter. You'll see those tweets.
And then the next night, which is the 8th, I believe, Thursday night, we have I'm sorry, the 7th. We have the 76ers and Nets. I didn't even know the line was out yet, so before I checked it, and I was like, oh, this line will be like -6, between -8 and -6 in favor of the Sixers. Just looked at it, it's -2. So I'm pounding the Sixers -2.
Let's go.
Kevin Durant is still out. Kyrie's coming off a game where he started 7 for 7 with 18 points in the first quarter. He's not going to happen again.
Kevin Durant's out?
Yes.
Yeah,
COVID.
COVID. You gotta love what Miles is hedging his Nets over total of wins on the year.
Yep.
So,
I got the
so,
under.
so those are my 2 cash crops. And stay tuned for the Twitter updates.
Nice. All right. Well, our favorite segment of the show. It's time for Red Card of the Week.
Let's go.
Brandon, lead us.
All right, my red card of the week goes to whatever ESPN employee leaked the information that they posted an article about that Schefter. They said Schefter was tweeting that the Dolphins fired Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator. You guys see this?
I did not see
I
that.
saw that he resigned today.
They said, no, an article came out that Schefter said that the Dolphins were firing Chan Gailey. Then they had to post a retracted tweet saying that that Schefter didn't say this, that they never filed any report that Chan Gailey was getting fired.
Bad look, Adam. You're better than that.
Well, they made it look bad on Adam, but then they said that Adam Schefter knew nothing about
they
this.
took the bull for him. He's the golden child.
Yeah, it's possible, but apparently it was just an ESPN employee who accidentally thought that was going to happen, but it really didn't. That whoever that employee is, that is an automatic red card and possible fire offense. You are no longer employed, sir. So I thought
Pack your bag.
That ties in perfectly to my red card because my red card was on Chan Gailey. He's the worst offensive coordinator I've ever seen in my life.
Respect
The
it.
Dolphins are in a must-win game, and you're throwing screen passes. You're down 10, throwing screen passes. You're down 20, throwing screen passes. Throw the ball downfield. What are you doing?
in the second half, they came out there downfield and they started to move the ball a little
So
bit. but-
frustrating when it's too late. Like, your back's against the wall. Like, you need to win. What are you scared of?
Well,
I get it. You want to get your quarterback going early. You want him to complete his passes. But there comes a time, like, all right, it's getting to the second quarter now. You haven't done anything. You need to figure it the fuck out.
I have a theory that Chan Gailey resigned a day after that whole thing happened that I mentioned because
I
he
saw
realized
this
that the
last
reason
night.
that it all came out, and if you know Dolphins Twitter or Dolphins fans, we all hate Chan Gailey. I feel like he just feels so hated that he's like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I thought he
He's
resigned
also in his
today.
70s. He's
Honestly, I
like,
have a different
Dude,
thought
serious.
process. Mine is simple: that Schefter just threatened to kill him. you don't resign, you're dead.
you don't get on Schefter's bad side.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right play caller for a young quarterback rookie. They just you have
He's
an
old school. He's an old
you know,
guy. You got to
Let's
get a
clear
young.
his
It's
Yeah.
a modern blood, all right.
Yeah.
That's just it's a modern NFL now, completely different game. Get some modern blood in there. So I guess me just actually it's kind of related to yours as well, Miles. Yours is related to Pig. Now mine's gonna be related to you,
Love when
but
that
in a completely
happens.
different way. And it's not really it's related to sports, but an indirect way. My red card of the week goes to Todd Singer. It's taken you 5 episodes to finally sponsor. I have to call you out on air for you to step up, give us these shirts, and show that Singer Health Center is the best health center in South Florida. All right? If you have anything wrong with your health, go to Singer Health Center. Red card.
Gotta love it, baby.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
Well, he came around. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Todd.
Todd.
called him out. Went to his house on New Year's Day and said, "Todd, we're not going to take this anymore. We need your backup."
Did he even just like openly like
He-
admit to doing it, or did you threaten
I mean,
him?
No, he's honestly been texting us over and over again. We're so busy with our inbox. We get all these messages about our picks and stuff. We didn't get back to him. But now that we finally were like, you know what, I called him out. Let's actually hear him out. His pitch was fantastic. We got a video for you guys coming up soon from him. It's about 30, 40 minutes, seconds. And you'll hear from him and see what he has to say because it's Bell Health Center in South Florida.
Yeah,
Definitely.
That's true. Well, red card of the week for me. After my awful picks, and I don't know if you remember, I called out Justin Fields saying he was not a good quarterback. Miles warned me about it. To be honest, I didn't watch a lot of Ohio State games, but you know,
6 touchdowns.
he shoved it on my ass, and he literally played injured through the whole second half. Didn't want to come out of the game. Manhandled the Clemson Tigers. Definitely proved that he is worthy of being the second quarterback overall. So I'm going to red up myself
Nice.
for that awful take on him.
Are you gonna leave the show?
I'm not going to leave the show.
It's a figurative red.
Still, the story behind that still is Ohio State has never produced a good quarterback, but now with Ryan Day, he's more NFL prototype, getting his quarterbacks ready. So, you know, I got to give him a chance. So we'll see what he has in the NFL. But yeah, that red card's on me squarely. So red card me up, and let's play on, boys.
Let's do it.
That's it for Red Card of the Week. Like we mentioned earlier in the show, tomorrow is the first round of the Tournament of Champions. Golf is back. And with that, we have golf picks with the Plotniks. I'm going to hand it over to Brandon Plotnik, and he's going to dive right into the tournament.
Well, let's start first just to cut you off. But Brandon, I'd say we should give, for our viewers, a little overview of how we kind of view golf and what kind of, just the base layer of what our strategies tend to be and how we go about when it comes to our picks with golf.
Okay. So I'm super excited that we're back. This is going to be a fun 37 straight weeks of golf tournaments. When it comes to my strategy and when I think about how I like to play my golf picks, and I typically take winners only. I like to play matchups. I'm not a top 5, top 10, top 25 type player. I don't see enough value in those picks. My thing is lay off. So a lot of my friends always hit me up because they know I like golf a lot, and they'll say, "Who do you like this week?" And they'll be like, "Oh, I'm on," and they'll just name like 2 or 3 of the top favorites.
DeChambeau, John Rahm.
Yeah,
GT.
all the top favorites in the fields. And to me, that's just never enough value in a 140-man field, let's just say. So my thing is lay off the favorites unless they're mispriced. And me and Jared are always monitoring guys that may not be in the best form but are top 10 players in the world, and they're just priced inaccurately. So, for example, I know we hit on John Rahm at like 18-1 this year. You'll never see him at that number. 20 to 1. You'll never see those numbers. So I'm laying off the favorites unless I see him at a mispriced number. Aside from that, I'm just looking for value when it comes to course history, recent form, and then all the key metrics. I like to run my custom stat models and make sure that guys that tend to, let's just say, on a course where you need to be good off the tee. I'm getting guys that like to hit fairways, just really, really zoning in on those key metrics. So that's really my golf strategy. When it comes to picks, again, I really typically only take about 3 to 5 golfers a week. However, like I mentioned, not getting mispriced favorites. What I do like to do, though, is fade them pre-tournament, wait until maybe after the first or second round, and go look for a really nice live line on a stud, because you never know on Friday or on Saturday on moving day when you can get them at a really ugly number, 35 to 1, 20 to 1, something like that, when they came into the tournament at 8 to 1, 6 to 1, and pound them live. So that's another strategy I like to use.
Yeah, so just piggybacking off you, we have pretty similar strategies. We've discussed this for years.
You guys are related, right?
Yeah, just a little bit, but just a couple things that you didn't touch on that we look for. It's key metrics, right? So when you look at golf, like you look for things things that you can predict, kind of, and things that you can't, right? So in golf, it's called tee to green, right? That means how accurate you are with your driver off the tee and how accurate you are with your approach into greens, right? And the best players in the world are the best tee to green players. So that's stuff that's easily replicated, right? You're not going to find someone that is an amazing putter that is just going to be amazing tee to green for a whole tournament. That's extremely rare. But inverse related is the most variable thing in golf is putting, right? So you're going to find golfers that normally are terrible putters, but they'll just have 1 week where they gain 8 strokes putting, and then that's when they win tournaments, right? So a lot of things we're looking for are courses, especially some of the longer courses, where you're going to go tee to green, players that have been shitty putting recently, but they somehow putt better on this type of grass, either POA, Bermuda. Mm-hmm. You're looking for them in this time where they've showed a glimpse of life recently, but somehow their numbers like a half of what it should be, and you're just going value-wise, right? So the whole point is you don't want to just go for the guys that you think are going to win, right? Because we could go for DJ, JT, DeChambeau every tournament. That's not how you do it. You're looking for value, and the way I look for it, and the other thing is that I'm going to, on average, risk about 2 units every tournament on futures. Right, so again, I don't limit myself to like 3 to 5 golfers. It's like if this one tournament I just love a favorite because it's a small field, I may put 1.5 units on them and just take one other golfer for like a half unit. If it's a field where I don't like any, I think it's deep and I'm getting a lot of value later, I'll take 5 or 6 golfers for like 0.4 units each. So it really all depends based off value. And we'll, as you guys listen to the podcast and hear when we talk about specific tournaments like we're going to dive into, you'll understand what we're talking about. So
absolutely. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. We got the Century Tournament of Champions. For those at home, the Tournament of Champions is a tournament that they only invite anybody who has won in the previous season. So typically, there are 30 men in the field. However, with the COVID cancellations of last year, they actually added 12 more spots this year to people who made the Tour Championship. So what that means is at the end of the year with the FedEx Cup, there's a playoff. You have to make it through the first tournament, the second tournament, make it all the way to the very end. Only 30 guys make it. So if you didn't win a tournament but also made it to the Tour Championship, then you do get a spot into this tournament this year. This is the first time they've ever done that. So we're going to the Plantation course at Kapalua in Hawaii.
Favorite course.
It's a fun little stretch here in Hawaii because they do back-to-back tournaments this week and next week. However, this week, like I mentioned, limited field, no cut event, whereas next week is going to be a full field with a cut event. It's a par 73, which is quite rare. You don't see that in golf very often, maybe 2 to 3 tournaments a year, if at all. We're sitting at yardage of 7,596 yards. That, to anybody that's ever played golf, we usually play 65 to 67 ourselves.
I prefer to play at 5,000.
And so it's fairly long.
Oh, it's not as long as normally what you say because there's an extra par 5 instead of a par 3.
Correct.
So that's an extra 300 yards.
Which is fair.
400 yards.
So Bermuda greens, which you were getting right into what I was getting at. There's 5 par 5s. Things to note about the course, just for everybody, so you guys can make proper decisions. Some of the widest fairways that you'll see on tour all year. So you're gonna basically, a lot of times they say that this can benefit bombers, but it really doesn't, because as long as you hit the fairway, you've got a really solid approach into the green. The other thing to think about is it can be very windy, but it also could not be very windy. It is fairly coastal. So you may find tournaments where the wind picks up, such as last year, where the winner finished at -14, versus in 2016, Spieth won at -30. So there's a big correlation when it comes to wind, so that's something to factor in when you're looking at who you're going to pick this week. And I'll get to that in a bit when I talk about my winners. Also, some of the largest greens on tour, so almost every guy is going to hit almost every single GIR, which is a green in regulation, meaning you're hitting a green to putt for birdie at least. So really, this tournament's going to be all about wedge proximity and putting. That's the way I look at it. Aside from that, the only thing to note, I know I mentioned that it's an expanded field. However, the key guys who opted not to play were Rory is not going to be in the field, Tyrrell Hatton's not going to be in the field, and Jim Herman, who qualified with a win, has COVID and won't be able to make it. However, on the other side, guys that everybody household names knows but didn't even qualify whatsoever. Brooks Koepka didn't qualify. Justin Rose, Jordan Spieth, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Wolff, Tiger, Jason Day. These guys will not be in the tournament. And then
Jason Day will be in it next year.
Yeah, Matt Wolff won a tournament that he's not playing.
No, he didn't.
Maybe it was like the wraparound season.
Yeah, he hasn't. He didn't win that calendar year.
I haven't looked at odds, but I would have to assume that Bryson's the favorite.
Nope. DJ.
Really? Bryson number 2?
DJ. So that gets right to what I was talking about, is the previous winners, just to give you an idea over the last 4 or 5 years of the kind of guys that win this. JT won last year. Xander won the year before, Xander Schauffele. DJ won the year before that. I mean, DJ's coming off of a Masters win, so of course he's going to be a favorite. Jordan Spieth and Patrick Reed. So studs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been a guy below 20-1 odds win this tournament since 2011.
Wow.
Good thing I have 120 to 1.
I've got one even higher, because you never know.
I did too.
That's a small field.
So
worth a shot.
There's going to be a combo, and the point of talking about those winners is there's a combo of bombers. You got DJ, of course. JT can bomb the ball, and then you've also got short hitters that are great putters. So Jordan Spieth, Patrick Reed, Xander can hit the ball. I mean, that's my course breakdown.
So I'll just throw in a little thing before I'll let you. We'll go back and forth with our picks future wise, but the only thing I really have to add is that when you come to like a course like this, like you said, widest this is the tournament champions, right? They try to make this course fun. They're making the widest fairways there is. So in my personal opinion, the way I look at this is that I want to find the golfers that are typically bad at hitting fairways, but are really good at the rest of their game, because they're all going to be in the fairway the entire time anyways.
Right.
And take them, and I'm just going to take I'm going to look for the most valuable guys number-wise from there. So there's a mix of that. We'll get into that, but I'll let you go first with your first pick.
Yeah, so I'll just dive right into it. My first pick of the week is South Florida boy, FSU boy, Daniel Berger at 27-1. This number makes no sense to me whatsoever. This guy has had unbelievable momentum from the post-COVID shutdown, so since the restart. So there was 3 months off of the PGA Tour after COVID hit, and they restarted in June. Ever since then, the guy has been unbelievable. His ball striking is immaculate. He's played in 11 tournaments since the restart up until this point. He's gained strokes on approach in 10 of them. Now, that may not sound crazy because we said a lot of people are going to hit greens, but strokes gained approach is factoring in how many more strokes you gain based off that approach. So that's proximity. So the guy is just dialing it up. He's going flag hunting. Love him. Also, he's got no rust. In the first tournament after the layoff, there was 3 months off. Berger won the Charles Schwab Championship. So we're coming off a layoff right now of a few months, and I feel like he's just going to be dialed in. He can get red hot with his putter. He's from South Florida. These are Bermuda greens. He loves Bermuda greens. I think he's going to be in a perfect spot. Also, I know I mentioned it earlier, unbelievable wind player. In the last 50 rounds in windy conditions, and what I would explain as windy AF is what I see on windy AF is 17 miles per hour or more. He's tied in first for total strokes gained with DJ. That's the only other guy that's tied with him in windy conditions of 17 miles per hour or more. Also, let's get into course history. Another thing I talked about earlier. He's played here twice in 2017 and 2018 when he won the St. Jude twice, and I bet him both times and hit on both of those back to back. And he's played here twice in those years, finished T11 and T14. He's got a good idea of how the course plays. He's played it well before. I think at 27-1, when this guy is just in great form, that's great value.
Before I'm getting my spiel, that's everything you said was great, but the one thing is you can't tote 11 and 14th when there's 30 people in the field. So,
it's top half.
Still, even better value. You have a small field. You're getting 27-1.
My point, my other point is just the fact that he's played here before. He knows the layout.
Yeah, that's fine. And going into my first pick, and this is something everyone that knows when I give you guys especially, I always send my picks year over year. It's something I never do is take someone less than 10-1. But like we talked about, on a 42-man field this week, I feel like I'm going to have to use one of my two units.
Can I guess it?
And take a stab on someone under 10. I don't think you're going to get it.
Can I get it?
Yeah, take a guess.
Bryson DeChambeau. Because he just talked about how he doesn't care how wide the fairway. He wants to take guys that hit the ball far. It doesn't matter if they hit the fairway or not.
That would be my point.
Well, no, my point, though, is it's so wide that you're going to hit the fairway even if you
That's my point.
But yeah,
so
you're 100% right. Because
what's his odds?
9-1.
Oh, so I have to get on that.
I got him 9-1, but my point is you compare him, and this is where I talk about value-wise, right? You got Justin Thomas, who I think is by far the favorite to win this tournament. Well, he's 6-1. So you're telling me that he has a 33% better chance to win than Bryson DeChambeau, who Bryson over the last 2 months has been grinding, hanging out, like he's just there grinding, wants to be better than ever. And he's going to go to this course that is known to be like it doesn't matter if he sprays a little left or right. He's going to be the fairway. He's going to be a wedge fest. The other thing about this course is it comes down to they have huge greens, right? So it's all about putting, and he is Bryson. The most underrated part about Bryson DeChambeau is he's a top 5 putter in the world.
He is the best putter in the world right now.
So I'm going to get the guy that's going to find a fairway every time, but 380 yards down in the fairway, and I'm going to get him at 9-1 in this small field.
I love that.
If the wind is down and it comes to a putt off. That is the most valuable pick you can have.
DJ 5-1. He's been drinking, doing blow all off season with Paulina doing weird videos. TikToks. And he's a 2-1 chance to beat Bryson this week. Absolutely not. I'm taking Bryson 9-1.
Yeah, if you follow him on Instagram, he's literally putting in the work.
I'm a big Bryson.
I'm a huge Bryson homer.
Yeah. I can't.
Shout out to Aaron.
So that's a perfect opportunity. Like I said, Bryson 9-1 after the first round, or even live in the first round. If he just falls back a few strokes, you can get him at 14 or 16-1. That's where I would pounce. That's the value I'm looking for when I'm going at guys live that have odds that I wouldn't take pre-tournament.
Nice.
So,
any other picks in this tournament?
No, I have 3. Total.
I have three as well.
Let's just rattle them off for the viewers at home.
I've got my second one. This is my long shot. I'm going, and I feel like we're going to both have taken the same guy, is Mark Leishman, the Aussie, at 66-1 odds. He's in decent form, not the best, after finishing 13th at the Masters only a few months ago. He's also got solid course history here. He's played here twice. He's finished T4 and T7. The other thing is he's just got great win equity. The guy finds a way to grind out wins. He's already won. He's got 5 career wins, 3 of which are in the last 3 years. So you know that he's always got an opportunity to win. And he's another win player that we talked about. He has a really low trajectory shot, beautiful angles if the wind does pick up. To me, this is just a value play at 66-1 as a long shot. You never know what could happen if the wind picks up, so I'm going to go with
Leishman, the Aussie boy. He loves wind conditions, and the number one thing about him that you didn't mention is that easily the worst part of his game is driving the golf ball. So you have big fairways. You can find the fairway. We hit him at. I always remember. I forgot the tournament. I think it was Torrey Pines when Kobe died. I remember I was watching on Sunday, and we bet him that day when he won outright, and because he was missing every fairway down to Mankind, was putting everything on the green within 15 feet. But I did not take him this week, unfortunately, because again I wanted to take Bryson, or else he would have been part of my card. So my second one, which is someone I don't really back very often, but when I said the 20-1 number, loves Bermuda. Give me Webb Simpson, 20-1. He's gonna. The one thing about Webb Simpson's game also that he's the worst at. Not only he doesn't drive the ball far, but he misses a lot of fairways. You get this guy who's gonna hit every fairway, and he is a magician with his long irons and his hybrids, and he's an amazing putter. You get him on these long, big greens, he's gonna put the lights out. Bermuda grass that he dominates, where he's from. Give me Webb 20-1, and I'll just keep going just to finish it off. I'll rattle it back to you, and it's going 45-1. A guy that. Whenever he wins, never. No, he's 100-1. I would take him, but I never know with him. It's 45-1, and I know Eric's gonna love this one, but I'm shocked he's even playing this tournament. The sexiest man on tour, baby. Adam Scott.
Absolutely.
Sexiest man
normally this guy is just vacationing over in Australia. He's not over here this early in the season. There's a reason he's over here. He's going to be taking this game this seriously. Exactly.
I follow him on Instagram. I saw he was out there on Monday grinding.
That's my point, dude. Adam Scott, you're giving me 45-1 on a guy who, when he's trying, he's top 15 player in the world.
Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me Sung J M is 35-1 over, and I love Sung J to death, but who's the better golfer? Come on. Absolutely. Give me Adam Scott any day over him. This is where we talk about value. Give me Adam Scott. The one thing I'm scared about always before you continue is that his putter, that's the one thing I'm worried about. But hey, you get hot one week, you get hot.
I was looking at some crunching some numbers, and I saw that within, I believe, the last 10 tournaments of who's got strokes gained putting, Adam Scott top 5, gaining 4 strokes gained putting.
He's very impressive at the end of the year.
It's also a small sample size because he barely ever plays, but yes.
Yeah, the fact that he's playing this early in the season shows me that he wants something.
So. Yeah, exactly.
So I'll get to my last pick of the week. It's a sucker bet, but goddamn, I'm a sucker when it comes to golf because I've always got a thing where if I feel like a guy is gonna break through and get that win, I'm just gonna keep betting him until he does, and it'll always pay off. So I'm taking Tony the Tiger
Dude,
Fee
you've
now.
done that for 20 straight weeks.
And I don't care, and eventually it'll pay off. My other thought process is he didn't win a tournament last year, so he shouldn't really be in the tournament. The only reason he's in it is because he made it to East Lake. To the Tour Championship. So it would make so much sense. It would be so apropos, as you said, for him to win this tournament after only qualifying due to semantics. Also, his parents were Hawaiian. They went to college in Hawaii. He may have some connections out there in Hawaii. Some a little familiarity out there. He is an absolute machine, tee to green, as you talked about earlier, how important that is, and his approach game is unbelievable. I am skeptical about his putting, but in a no-cut tournament, nobody can go low quicker than Tony Finau. That guy can rattle off an 8-under round like it's nobody's business. So I just love him at the value. The value is 24-1. That's just nice. He played here in 2017 after he won the Puerto Rico Open, his lone win, and he finished T9. Also, another great win player. I'm going to keep riding the win players because if the win picks up, then it becomes so important. He was only T3 behind Berger and DJ in the last 50 rounds when it came to wins of over 17 miles per hour.
So he played in 2017 in this tournament. So he played all 2017, 18, 19, and 20. And you're saying there's value on him at 21. That's like 70 tournaments that he has not won and playing.
Yeah, top 10's McGee. If you're ever going to play top 10s, take Tony Finau.
You got to be outside the U.S.
Also, one last thing I like about him, these are some of the slowest greens on tour all year. They call them Velcro greens. They're so slow. He's one of the best putters on tour on slow greens. Number 10 in the last 50 rounds when it comes to putting on slow greens and all those metrics. I'm going to take the shot on Tony Finau. I'm going to hit eventually, I promise.
Just a reminder for those of you at home, Brandon is the king of the top 5 finish. So when he says that player's going to win, they'll probably come in second, third, or fourth. So make sure you back those future winners with a top 5. They'll also get you some good money back.
And the last thing I'm going to say before we continue, but I was waiting to after this, but I have 5 golf cash crops, right? And it's very quick, all related to players we just talked about. And these are going to be 72-hole matchups, right? So if you're interested in these, you want to go and make sure you have the 72-hole matchup, not the 18-hole matchup. It's simple. Adam Scott over Kisner, Leishman over Horschel, Simpson over Cantlay, DeChambeau over Schauffele, Justin Thomas over Rahm. Those are my 5 72-hole cash crop wagers of the week.
Yeah, those are not just picks, guys. Those are cash crops. So he's labeling cash crops. He feels very confident in those plays. So make sure you tail those. I wasn't really fired up for golf, but after hearing your this guy over here, Brandon, giving me a whole concept of the course, I feel like I can go out there and shoot a fucking 69. I know exactly how big the fairways are, how the greens are. So, and the great thing about this tournament is it's nighttime golf. So we get home from work tomorrow. We get feature groups when we get off, and we have golf going into the night, which has always been my favorite. So
Golf's the best.
I'm excited for the season. So
I had one last thing. I'll never forget last year. I bet on Patrick Reed to win this tournament, and it went to a 3-way playoff with Justin Thomas, Patrick Reed, and Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele lost on the first. We were watching it. It was like 10 p.m., maybe 11 p.m., and Xander Schauffele lost in the first hole. And Patrick Reed, and JT went to a duel. It was like 3 holes, and they just kept going back and forth. And unfortunately, I lost that one. Like Eric said, I'm the king of runner-ups, but I've always got a pony. And what are we talking about? Just give me a pony.
Give me a pony, baby. All right. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we posted a questionnaire on our Instagram this morning, hoping we get some followers to ask some questions. Brandon's got some questions that you guys asked that we'll discuss shortly. You're just laughing over there, so I can't wait to hear this one.
So, Ask the Farm, #Ask the Farm. We got a question from our boy Dylan Weeda.
Whoa, Dylan Ray.
Dylan Ray,
tuning in.
He was wondering, how did you ever guys get started gambling? Where did that come from? When did you start gambling?
Me is simple. 5th grade, Robbie fucking Chase. I'll never forget. Comes in my house, and I have back in the day, you don't have laptops, so the computer's like in the guest room. And my aunt Jill is like, she was there in town, so she's like sleeping there. And like Robbie's on there, like going through like lines and like making bets, showing me everything. I'm like, oh, this is so fucking cool. And my aunt literally is like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, typical answer, like, this is fantasy. She ends up telling my mom, like, oh, they're gambling. My mom has a talk with me that night. I'm in 5th fucking grade. Betting on fucking like the San Jose Sharks. It was like hockey season. So Robbie Chase introduced me to gambling. I was in 8th grade. I'll never forget. We won like an 8-team hockey parlay. I won like $250, and being Robbie, he's like, "Oh, let's bet on." The Lakers were playing the Bobcats at the time. He's like, "Oh, Lakers are gonna win. Put it all on the fucking Lakers." They lost. I lost every dollar I won from the parlay. I lost, and basically ever since that day, I've been just the gambling man. But yes, Robbie Chase. Thank you for getting me involved in this beautiful thing, but also, fuck you.
I actually have a funny story. Around the same age, I think I was in 6th grade, because I remember I was about 12 years old. If anybody remembers, any of the old school gamblers out there remember 5 Dimes. Before it was 5 Dimes Sportsbook, like the new one, they actually would give you would sign up, and I got into it because I was really into fantasy baseball, but I really wanted to do a little bit more. So 5 Dimes would give you a free 10 cents to start with. And if you could turn that 10 cents into $10, then they would...
You were such a moosh.
Yeah, that's the wrong site.
It is not 5 Dimes. It was Cent Sports.
Cent Sports. I remember that, yes.
That's what it was. The dime throws me off. The dime, 10 cents. That's what it was. Yes. It was Cent Sports, and they would give you a free 10 cents no mater what. And if you lost it, they'd give you another 10 free cents. So I would just do it. I would just bet on a game, lose it, and just re-up, and I would... Yeah, you're right.
I remember doing that. I remember I got to like $50, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, and I lost it all.
I would just sit there all day, and it was mainly I was into baseball. I was so into baseball. I would sit there with my stat tracker up on Yahoo and just bet on every baseball game. That's how it all started for me. I was 12 years old, and look where we are now.
Yeah, talking podcasts, talking sports, gambling, love it.
I wish I had some elaborate story for Dylan.
Yeah, I don't either. Fans. So what's next?
I honestly don't even remember.
Nor do I. It was so long ago.
All right, next question.
Well, Ask the Farm. We had, I believe, so I don't know. I have to check who it was. I'll look it up. But someone asked us, are you guys going to talk about the NHL this year?
Ooh, absolutely.
We're going to talk about the NHL. We're going to talk about the... we've talked about the NHL. We're going to talk, or we haven't talked about that, but we're going to talk about it. We've talked about soccer. We've talked about it in Australia, Sweden, Norway, China, Japan. we're going to talk about everything there is. Women's volleyball, I don't even care. I mean, even if just what color the bikini is. Like, we talk about everything.
We got a triple header coming up.
Oh, it was producer Kyle, baby.
Oh.
That's the farm.
Absolutely. We're big Panther fans over here, and there's actually a triple header coming up next week.
Actually, this morning, or this afternoon, I was on a conference call getting some pricing for some season tickets.
Hey, I might count me in. I'm working. I get out every day at 6. I'll be love to go to some games.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk some NHL. We could even get into some futures. Season starts next week.
Yeah, well,
next week.
Yeah, I think it's next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gotta wrap. We gotta tighten up over here.
Oh, we will, and we will be talking about it to answer your question, viewer. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
We had a few more questions, but we'll save them.
They didn't make the cut. They didn't make the cut.
All right, guys.
Step it up.
Well, wrapping it up. This is the time where we can fire out some miscellaneous bets.
Oh, I'm going first on this one because I got one and it feeds right off of what we took today, boys. What is that? When you're in Serie A, who's the Serie A shop once the NFL is done? This guy.
Farmer.
You go to Italy, and I love Italy, and you get Juventus, always the favorites in this league, and they go on the road to AC Milan, and somehow they're not underdogs, but like for them money line, they are plus money. And they're going against a team without their captain, striker, and Zlatan.
Ibrahimovic.
And without a few key midfielder and defenders. And you're going out there and you're going to win. And now they're 7 points back. They were 10 points back. That was a must-win for them. Half the season's already over. Now they're going on Saturday. And they play at home against my boys. You guys know I love Sassuolo.
I
don't know why I put an A at the end when it was an O. But honestly, for this one, because I'm betting on Juventus, we'll make them... I was going to say, we'll make them females instead of males. With the A at the end instead of the O. No? Spanish? Yeah, exactly. But it's...
God,
that works.
Serie A just makes me so hungry.
Dude,
the point is, I'm taking
chicken parma.
They put my boys Caputo's back, which scares me a little bit. I lean kind of to the over, but it was 3 and it was juice, so I didn't want it. But Juventus, they're only 7 points back now. They got a game in hand, and they're going to make a charge right now in the next few weeks. So you'll see me early and often back in Juventus. Ronaldo today, they scored 3 goals. He wasn't even happy because he wants to score. He's a little pug face. So like you said, brace for him on Saturday. They beat Sassuolo 3-1, -1.
Miles? Nothing?
Miscellaneous bets.
I am going to go back to golf. It's technically miscellaneous. I didn't get a chance to get my matchups. I'm taking one matchup this week that I'm confident in. Scotty Scheffler over Cameron Smith. Scotty Scheffler is a young 24 and up-and-coming player.
From?
Scotty Scheffler?
Yep.
UCLA?
Nope.
Ooh.
Texas Longhorns.
Jordan Spieth. You're a fake fan.
Oh, yeah.
1-1 tonight. Jared strikes.
Actually, you're 1-1-0
I'll take it.
Of your loss on Sudfeld. But he's a tee to green wizard. He's gained 4+ strokes tee to green in the last 10 tournaments he's played in. All he's got to do is sink some putts. He's not the best putter of all time. I just think Cam Smith is a bit overrated at this price right now. Cam Smith obviously played really well at the Masters, played really well at the Zozo Championship. So give me the young gun who's used to playing on the Korn Ferry Tour, doing shootouts, versus the Aussie who's likely on vacation and depends on the short game and putter to compete. Give me Scotty Scheffler over Cameron Smith, and that will be my cash grab.
Eric?
I got one. I'm going to go back to the pitch, as we call it. Premier League, that's what I love. It's my favorite league. You have Newcastle United playing Sheffield United.
I love Newcastle.
Oh, there we might have a competition.
I was talking about the brown ale.
Oh, the beer. So Sheffield United, if you follow the Premier League, they're dead last. I think they've picked up maybe 4 points in 17 or 18 contests. They're favored against Newcastle United. It's a pick'em right now with Sheffield -140, where Newcastle would be getting plus money at a pick'em. I mean, you got to be scratching your head at that one. So
I like that one.
Yeah.
Give me Sheffield. Must win. They got to come through.
Yeah.
I know what you're taking.
Yeah, I'm a Sheffield United supporter this weekend, boys. Actually, the game is Tuesday at 1:00. Kicks off Premier League coverage. That's the next time they're in action. So tune in.
There's no games this weekend?
No games this weekend.
Wow.
At least not posted yet.
All right, boys.
guys.
So now that we review everything we said, I know we talked about a couple games. What is something that we can all agree on for our favorite segment? That is 3-0-1 to start Bet the Farm podcast.
I'm leaning Ravens
I was
-3.
going to say Ravens -3.
Well, it all came down to Miles. I mean, so if Miles, what is
Yeah.
your opinion on it?
Ravens -3. Why do I like Ravens -3?
Do you like it? And if you do, why?
Why? Because I thought it was -12, and -3 is better than -12.
So that's what we call where we're from, boys. We grab hands. And we love to say it's called the Bet the Farm.
Ravens -3. Lock it in now. Lock it in now. Great episode, boys. A lot of information. Fired up for the NFL playoffs. It's going to be a lot of cool games. We got golf all weekend. Make sure you tune in to our Flanny's food review. Just came back out. One of the funniest episodes I've seen this year. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram. Also on Twitter. We're going to be posting the NBA picks from the Milkman daily so you guys can get action every night.
Next week, MMA show with the Burn Dog. We are back.
Wow.
3 events in 1 week.
And also, I got
Conor McGregor is back too. Don't forget.
That's on Saturday the
Notorious.
24th.
I do have something to market myself. It's an acronym. It's SHC. It's Singer Health Center, all right? When the bookie, again, breaks your back because you won't pay up your bills, go see him. He'll fix you in 2 seconds. All right, very cheap. Cheaper than paying the bookie.
We appreciate all our sponsors.
Yeah, best doctor in town. Beautiful new facility he opened up. Maybe like a year and a half old. New, actually. So, yeah, it's a great place to go. A lot of nice workers there, and your back will be fixed in a heartbeat. So, boys, as always, I enjoyed it. Make sure you guys follow the Cash Crops. We're on a nice streak. And you guys stay...
39, 12, and who cares?
You guys stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Thank you.